Today I'm talking about how your brain can give you illusions, okay? It can actually give you illusions, delusions, and that can have a physical effect on your body and therefore your results. You see, the mind and body is completely interconnected in every way. Your thoughts give you feelings, or you could say your beliefs create your thoughts give you feelings, those feelings, whatever you're feeling goes around your whole system and you physically feel that. So if you're in a state of empowerment, good news, your body is feeling empowerment and therefore your actions are reflected. But the thing is, if you are in a state of negativity, your thoughts will reflect that, right? And therefore your feelings will reflect it. And therefore your body reflects it in stress. And we know that stress is not good for the body and therefore in your actions. But the interesting thing is, the world is very, very subjective, looking through our own eyes. We are perceiving it a certain way based on what we think is true. So if you think that life is good, guess what? Life will probably be good for you. Or if you think life is bad, stressful, scary, hard, all those things, you too will actually experience the world that way too. Okay, it's just the way it works. Whatever you perceive to be true is true for your own life and your own path. If you don't think you're good enough, then you're not going to be seeing the immense possibilities and opportunities around you. You would just look for everything which is not good enough for you. Okay, so you may even delete situations. So I want you to realize this. There was a study, right, where two groups of people were given this amazing shake, okay? Just like a milkshake, right? So on the one group of the study, they were given the indulgence shake. And it was like 600 calories. And it was just full of sugar. You know, like one of those shakes you might be just like give you a sugar high and all those things. And you just know it's not going to be good for you, but it tastes so good. It's full of sugar, just like people say, like it's just like cocaine or whatever it is, right? They just like feeds your brain into this sugar crazy high and you thrive in it. You enjoy it and you're like, this is great. And that group of people, of course, how does their body react to 600 calories of just sugar? Their body reacts as if it's just had 600 calories full of sugar. So the brain was reacting to that. And of course, the body was physically absorbing the 600 calories as if it was having 600 calories, because it was, right? On the other group, they were given the Sensi shake. Now, this was a guilt-free, healthy shake. And the good news about this healthy shake, it was only 300 calories. Now, of course, this shake is a lot better for those people. And as they were drinking it and having it, might not have had all the sugary highs, but it gave them the 300 calories. The body reacted as if it was 300 calories. The brain reacted in that way. They reacted that way because it's 300 calories. So, two groups, one 600, one 300 calories. But the big crazy thing is, which you probably guessed by now, they were both the exact same amount of calories. Okay, so the person who had, or the group which had the 600 calories, despite it being, I think it was 400 calories, their brain reacted as if it was 600 calories, physically, because they perceived this sugar, crazy-filled milkshake. They perceived and were told it was 600 calories, so their body reacted in that way. Those who had the 300 calorie shake, which they thought was 300, which was really 400 calories, their body reacted as if it was only 300, despite physically being the 400. And on the other group, despite it being 400, their body reacted as if it was another 200 calories. Now, how crazy is that? Just because you were told that something is X amount of calories, your body can react to it. And that is just one study. I mean, there's loads of cool studies out. A good friend of mine called Dr. David Hamilton, fellow Hay House author, really cool guy. His whole books, and I've read pretty much all of them, he's always writing, but he's a researcher into these studies, and they're crazy how the brain is very unique. It perceives what it thinks is true, the placebo effect, or in some cases, the nocebo effect. So you have to really understand that the information you're receiving right now, you are receiving based on what you believe to be true. So if someone says that this situation is going to make you feel angry, sad, hurt, fearful, the chances are you might buy into that. And if you think about it on a deeper level, like society, how we're expected to live a certain way, how we should look a certain way, that feeds that negativity, or that feeds, at the very least, the expectation of being that way. So what I want you to really understand and to realize is that despite, my mic's all turned around, I just realized it's probably going to turn out horribly on my mic. Hopefully you've been hearing me okay after all that. Goodness gracious. We'll just see what it happens. I was trying to look at the make of this mic. There we go. We got it back. We've got to speak to it in the right direction. So sorry for any external sound or rubbish sound. But what we have to realize is this. The thoughts you have right now, the feelings you have right now, the way that you're acting and reacting is based on what you think to be true. But are those things true? Is it the reality of the situation? Because there's many things that you've believed to be true, but then realized it's not true. Okay, there's countless times where things were told as children, which ended out to be make-believe, or things that you believed about the world. Some people were, say, Christian, then become atheists. You change your belief. Or some people are atheists, turn to Islam or Christianity. It doesn't really matter which, but as examples, there are things that we've believed in once, and therefore we lived our life by those rules or those limitations, maybe, depending on the situation, or at least governing perception of what you think is true. You see, every belief you have about yourself, they'll have a governing set of rules of like, this is what I believe to be true, and everything which goes against that truth, I kind of delete or put to one side or whatever, right? Every belief that we have, good or positive, there'll be a form of its own limitation around that. Every thought you have cannot include everything which is good. There'll be a limit. There'll be like a boundary around it, and even a neurological boundary of the possibility of that thought or that idea or that perception. But what I want you to consider is the thoughts you've been having recently. Maybe you've had thoughts of anxiety. Maybe you had thoughts of not being good enough or worthy, or fears and phobias and all those things. I want you to just, to the best of it you can, to step back and realize, is this thought my own? Is this the reality? I mean, the true reality. We never really see reality for what it really is because we can't see everything, like all the spectrums and all the nature of reality. But to our greatest truth, is it what we really want in our world? Is this an illusion that we're choosing to participate in? And yeah, I said it, we are participating in what we think is true, good or bad or indifferent. We are still actively participating. We may be actively participating consciously. We might be doing it unconsciously. But the best way to make the change is to become conscious of, and even just question, is this belief even my own? Maybe it was my father's belief, or my mother's belief, or my school teacher's belief, or it's the news belief system. I mean, we're absorbing all this information right now, from a kid all the way to our present age. And I want you to ask, is this real? Is this illusionary? Is this something I'm participating and choosing to carry out? Is this a story that all through my past I've been buying into, which is actually maybe an illusion? I'm not saying it is an illusion, but I want you to question, is this something that I have to participate in? Is this something that I can do something about? Is there answers out there which will allow me to break through that limitation? Because there's always answers. I mean, people message me sometimes and they say they've tried everything. We haven't tried everything, I promise you. I promise you in every way we haven't tried everything. But we have to step up and consider, what is the truth? And am I honoring myself by playing out this reality right now? Because right now, this is my reality, real or not, based on my perceptions. But is it something that I am going to continue participating in or continue contributing to? Am I going to continue to contribute to the fear or the doubt or the scarcity or the belief of not being good enough? All those things, right? Whatever the issue is, are we going to continue to participate in them? Because there's always transformations available in any given moment. You can change right now, in this second. One insight, one thing that I may tell you can create an epiphany inside of you, which therefore allows you to think of something else which is not the problem. I mean, you've thought about that. People who have problems focus on the problem. Of course, it's natural, because why? That shows up in our reality. It's in our experience for our five senses. It shows up there. But if you have that epiphany to something, I say, or someone else, and you begin to break through, your reality changes because you're breaking through that boundary. You're contemplating to the deeper truth of what you want. You see, if I come up with my ideal truths, okay, for myself, I want to believe the world is abundant. I want to believe the world is ultimately good and that I can make a difference in this world, that I'm attracting the right people into my life because I only want the right people for me, that I attract what I put out, that whatever I want ultimately wants me. I've just got to change my frequency, my thoughts, my beliefs, and whatever I think I am, I'm even more than that. So I can't even ever experience that because there's always something deeper to dive into the beauty of the world. You see, although being stuck, and I'm going quite deep here, which is cool, although feeling stuck at times, it can allow you to reach something bigger and better. It can actually be the catalyst of transformation. So what we have to do is wake up and go and step back. Is this mine? Is this just simply something I've chosen to take on, consciously or unconsciously? But is it something I've chosen to take on? And what can I do about it? Is there something I can do today which will allow me to experience something deeper? The deeper truth of who I am or where I'm heading. Because as we close out 2016, right? What we have to open up to is, are we going to carry on being who we've been all this time? Because we can take responsibility. We can instigate change. You can do all the things you want to do in life. I fully believe and endorse that message that you can make profound changes. Yeah, you might need the right support. You might need more education and, more importantly, application to learn and grow because of that. But I want you to be conscious. Is there something happening right now that is not actually yours? Are these thoughts that we're having, they're ours, right? But are they really coming from a place of the authentic self? Have they come into existence by our past experiences or by what people have told us? Because going back and tying all this up into that study, the people thought they were having a 600-calorie shake in one group. The other group thought they were having a 300-calorie shake. Yet they were both having 400-calorie shakes. And their bodies were reacting as if it was 600 in one group or 300 in the other group, despite in reality it only being 400 calories. And that's a biological response. So are we considering what's really happening on the in here? On the inside even. I want you to kind of meditate on that, contemplate it, or even take inspired action on that, because you'll notice when you start to apply what I say into your life, and I don't mean just to conceptualize it and to dream about it or to just meditate over it. I want you to take action on it. No one gets anywhere by just wishful thinking. There's too many people in this self-development world who just go, I just meditate on it and all will be well. I wish it was all that easy. In fact, I wish you could just listen to one podcast of mine and your life will be transformed. Maybe it does for some people. I'm never going to negate that. I mean, that has happened. I'm sure of it. People have said, I listened to this one thing when I was close to the edge of suicide, this one podcast. I don't know how I found you, Joseph, but that was my awakening that I'm going to live life. And I've had countless emails of people who have been suicidal and somehow they found my podcast. I don't know how. They don't know how. But something shifted them on one listen. But whatever it is, I want you to realize that we got to apply this information. If you're not applying, every day I'm applying what I'm teaching. I'm doing whatever I can to make a difference in myself, which will then make a difference in the world. That's my intention anyway. But I'm going to leave that with you to just consider and then act upon. So if you enjoyed this, I know we were kind of going a little bit deeper than I intended, but it's interesting how the mind and body works. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and share this video or leave me a comment and let me know how you're doing and what you're doing right now as to what insights you've learned from this video, this live video. Or if you're now, because it's going to be the recorded, right? If you're listening to this on the podcast, on the app, or on YouTube, leave a review, leave a comment. That way, more people can be able to begin to transform. I want to provide as much as I possibly can, but sometimes I need other people to share that information. So go ahead and do that. If you've enjoyed this, make the change and also make the change for someone else by sharing, leaving a review, subscribing, all those crazy cool things. So after all, we're going to stay more connected this way, right? The more people listen, the more times I'm going to be doing these. So have the most wonderful day and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.